On social media, it's all about kidnappings, banditry, attacks, and the security challenges facing us as a nation. It is really heartbreaking. And on the show today, we hope to not only discuss this, but to seek for ways to bring about lasting solutions to the multitude of problems facing us. Today, we are discussing the state of the nation with the 2023 elections, natural resources, and banditry in focus. Welcome to Real Talk, the show where conversations are real. And I am Kike Lomatondao. And today is an exciting day for me. I don't know where to start from. Before introducing my co-host, it is important for me to tell the world that it is Lolo Africa's Day, a day that we only get once a year. Lolo, happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you, Lolo. We love you. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. You are one of the best people that I can tell you that I'm so happy that our path crossed, and what to see is what to get. Happy birthday to you, Lolo.
Are you kidding?
Happy birthday.
We're going to do show.
And this is how we're going to be celebrating you. Masha, let me leave. Let me give an open floor to celebrate.
Oh my God.
One and only Lolo.
We appreciate you, and it's a privilege to be your friend, to be in your life, and we like the work that you're doing on Real Talk with Kike. We like the impact you're making in our lives and the lives of our viewers. Happy birthday, long life and prosperity.
We're not supposed to have a crying day, are we?
No, you're not supposed to have one.
Yeah.
And we have to paint the town red today, whether you like it or not.
Wow.
We're painting the town red.
I got the brushes.
We're painting the town red, guys. All right, guys, it's important for us to quickly just swing into our segment on this day in history. We'll be right back. Please listen.
This day in history, Tuesday, 27th of April, exactly 1 year ago, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari said the coronavirus lockdowns, which had been due to end today, needed to continue until 4th of May. He also ordered new nationwide measures against COVID-19, including a nighttime curfew and mandatory face masks. Nigeria has reported 1,273 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 40 deaths. Buhari said a lockdown would be imposed in Kano for an additional 2 weeks, and that he was sending a government team to investigate a high number of unexplained deaths.
Welcome back. Exactly 1 year today. Our time flies. I remember when this COVID hit us, and we're indoors for months. We couldn't move around. Businesses were shut down even after post-COVID. A lot of businesses have not recovered till date. Masha, what do you think?
Nice to remember how it all began. And, well, I like the angle you're taking it from. That is this day in history. The first time it was extended. Not the coronavirus itself, the first time it broke. However, it also brings to mind that, look, everything that has a beginning will have an end. Here we are, despite the extensions, despite the lockdowns. Look at us now, we've survived. And our heart goes out to the families of those that lost loved ones. It's passing, and let's take it that it's past.
I always thought that anything is possible. You would have thought that in Nigeria we will not be able to achieve some things. But I saw during the lockdown how everybody complied. And the whole world was shut down. Nobody in our wildest dream would have believed that something would shut the entire world down. When the lockdown started, we all thought it was like a joke, that maybe it would be gone in a week, and extended for months on end. But we have gotten the better of it now. We're grateful.
All right, I think I want to use this opportunity. I know there are quite a number of lives that were lost, but the one that was a bit dear to me and dear to my family, to my father, is that of His Excellency Ajumobi. Is someone who, you know, nurtured me from the challenges I started facing in past years, you know, especially 2-3 years ago. And I just pray that His Jesus will continue to rest in peace. All right, before we get into our discussion for today, let's take a message from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
People, they ask me, say, where did they make me smile? I tell them people, say, how I love plenty, just like 1,000 smiles.
Waiting for 7 months was far too long. Echo Hotels and Suites is back with the same passion to take care of me in the same good old way, and even better.
It's been a long time, sir.
Far too long.
To make up for all the time they were truly missed.
Amstel Motor, and introducing New Amstel Motor Ultra, the first ever no added sugar malt. Both made from the best quality ingredients, have a world-class name, and are good for you. Amstel Motor and New Amstel Motor Ultra with no added sugar. Be your best.
All right, welcome back. My guest is a respected commentator on national issues. He is a senior pastor of Trinity Church, Trinity House Church. To get to know more about him, let's take a quick look at his profile. We'll be right back.
Conversations are live, real, honest, and direct. Then join Kike Lomo Atondaowo and her exciting co-hosts every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3 p.m. on Silverbird Television. Join these super team live as they explore fresh issues from around the world and contemporary topics of national importance. Together, they will analyze topics with experts, statesmen, and stakeholders, giving you insights, knowledge, and up-to-date facts you never thought possible. Real Talk with Kike, where conversations are real.
They make me smile. I tell the people, say, how I love plenty, just like 1,000 smiles.
Waiting for 7 months was far too long. Echo Hotels and Suites is back with the same passion to take care of me in the same good old way, and even better.
It's been a long time, sir.
Far too long.
To make up for all the time they were truly missed.
The new look Amstel Motor, and introducing New Amstel Motor Ultra, the first ever no added sugar malt. both made from the best quality ingredients, have a world-class name, and are good for you. Amstel Malta and new Amstel Malta Ultra with no added sugar. Be your best.
Alright, welcome back. He is a teacher of the Word of God, an accountant, a social reformer, a writer, and sought after speaker. The list goes on and on. It's nice to have you in the studio, Pastor Utua. Many thanks for honoring my invite today to at least spend your lunchtime with us.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I'm very good.
You look good.
Thank you.
So, Pastor Utua, it's great to have you, like I said earlier on the show. It is equally an edge to have a profound analyst and a concerned citizen of Nigeria with us today. So, my question now is, where do we start? Where do we start concerning lots of issues that we're having in Nigeria today? Should we trace it back to history, or? And the reason why I said that is because there are a lot of mistakes that have come with the independence of our era. Quite a number of people, or the school of thought, is of the opinion that the time where we gained our independence was not when we should have gotten the independence. And some people have the opinion that there are some what's it called now? They feel that the colonial masters gave powers to the northerners. So I would really like to hear from you. What's your take on this?
Well, to a large extent, people are correct in their analysis.
Okay.
The Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, if the foundation is inappropriate, it's difficult even for righteousness to rebuild it. And the foundation of Nigeria as an entity was very faulty. It wasn't actually designed to succeed. It was designed to fail, designed to favor some people, and designed so that the colonial masters can and are still continuing to exploit the disorganization and lack of cohesion in Nigeria. Nigeria was 3, 4, 5, 6 different member states. So for those member states to come together, having different interests and different requirements, they had to really sit round a table and come to certain agreements on how they wanted to work together. And therefore they had various constitutional conferences. So in the first place, they shouldn't even have been brought together, because there was no real cohesion and there was no real basis of unity and interaction. But lo and behold, because it was convenient for the British, especially Lord Lugard, to govern Nigeria that way, it was convenient for him to make some resources of some area available to another area. No problem. You know, all things work together for good. Nigeria could even then still have become a greater nation. From that, people still even thinking today that we should have annexed Togo, Dahomey, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and build one huge and humongous nation. We could have done that. But the issue now is, on what basis do we agree to work together such that every single citizen, 200 million, plus the other 50 million from the neighboring states, can come together and grow together, and everybody get a feeling of well-being and sense of being a nation together as a people. Okay, Americans are diverse, they're different, diverse, but there's an American dream. The issue is, what is the Nigerian dream? We've not been able to articulate it, we've not been able to put it together, we've not been able to agree on it, and that's why the house is divided all over the place.
Very, very wonderful submission. And I'm beginning to think that now that we have this big question to answer, I know some years ago there was a slogan that was bandied around: "Great nation, great people, great nation."
Great nation.
And now that we know that there is a problem with the foundation, and the new generation who were not part of what used to be, but they are the ones that their teeth is set on edge right now. How are we going to reconcile this particular issue? Who is going to answer these questions? Because I don't see any of our leadership putting themselves out there to be able to answer or tell us what we are doing together as a people. Are we going to continue on this path forever?
Well, the challenge with leadership that we have in Nigeria today, on the average, is elevated self-interest, a lot of greed, and a lot of selfishness. And they can say, "I said so." Tell them, "I said so." Most of them have what you call elevated self-interest. The only reason why they aspire to leadership is for their own interest. And that is not leadership. That is not leadership. A leader must be ready to lay down his life and sacrifice for the people that he's leading. This is totally almost absent in Nigeria, and everybody is feeling the pain. And until we can get a few people who actually think Nigeria, work Nigeria, believe Nigeria, and are ready to elevate Nigeria, not a section and not themselves, we're going to have this challenge. So we need to look for as many as are available, and this is one of the things I am trying to do. Few people who actually think Nigeria, and get them to begin to speak up and articulate a way and direction for Nigeria, and pass it down to the younger generation so that they can also think Nigeria. The irony now is that a lot of them fall into about three categories. Number one, lost hope in Nigeria. Lost hope in Nigeria. Number two, think of the US, of Canada, of Australia, anywhere where I can make my home. And then number three, survive somehow in Nigeria. Just survive. And that's what led to the answers. And then four, a few of them have taken a chip off the old block. Their parents have told them that this is how we want Nigeria to be, and they have taken it. So there's also very few of them who even have the capacity right now to think globally in Nigeria. So we do have a sincere problem, to answer your question.
Okay, sir. Welcome once again to the show. My question will be on the secession and the call for restructuring. The Hydra-headed monster that has come to be now, banditry, is just one of so many elements that has led to a louder voice for secession for the Westerners who would want to carve out an Odua people's nation, the Easterners who want to carve out a Biafran nation. That agitation has been lingering for quite a while. I want you to lend your voice on this matter. Would you vote for secession or referendum or restructuring? What would you say?
Referendum leads to restructuring. What we really want is restructuring. We have come too far. We are into one another in various ways: business, social life, marriage, and we share a few things in common. And as I said, diversity is good. Diversity is strength. Diversity can lead you to greater heights if you can manage it well.
But we don't seem to be managing it well.
That's the problem. So succession is really last resort, so that there will be peace. Okay, that's last resort for me, so that there will be peace. We can still try to play to our strengths, play to our commonalities, and see how we all can grow together. If we can make room for one another. You see, the beauty about Nigeria is that there's no part of Nigeria that's not viable, including the deserts of Maiduguri. I went to Dubai a few months ago, and I went on what they call a desert safari. Listen to me, desert safari. They have lots of sand and desert there, and they put me in a jeep. They drove me around the sand for about half an hour. My little boy threw up in the upside down, and they took money from me. This is tourism. They call it desert safari. We have it in Maiduguri, we have it in near Lake Chad, we have it everywhere. Everywhere in Nigeria is viable. Understand me? And there you have solar, so access to solar. I'm on a panel with a lady from Kano. She says Kano is so hot now. That's solar energy being wasted. Solar energy that could be tapped and sold to the rest of Nigeria and even neighboring states. So all we need to do is think. When God told the Israelites that you have milk and honey, he didn't think of milk and honey on the ground. He says milk and honey on the mind. Singapore has no resource, yet they are a first world nation. You understand? Neither does Dubai really. They don't have the kind of oil that we have. Yet they opened Dubai for business and people came and did business there. So Nigeria, let us agree. You know, this fair about restructuring, there's only one monster there. It's called oil. Finish. You know, everybody is so focused on oil. The
resource.
That they are so afraid of oil. And they all want to share oil. That they don't realize that oil is only 1/36 of the potential that Nigeria has. They haven't looked at gold.
Human resources.
They haven't looked at uranium. They are, even coal. The coal in Enugu is one of the best coals that you can find in the world. The bitumen in Nigeria is the best to harvest and is there wasted. Everybody's afraid that if we give the oil to the South, they will have so much money, the rest of us will be poor, blah, blah, blah. Let's have an arrangement over the next 10 years. You gradually hand over the oil back to them or whoever, and then you build up your own resource. Okay? I didn't grow up on oil. I grew up on cocoa, on cashew, on palm kernel, on groundnuts. And we had no problem. They had groundnut and cotton. We had cocoa. The Easterners had palm kernel and all that. Everybody went to almost free school. From there, they paid money for scholarship. What happened to all that? They are still there. But we took our eyes off them and faced oil. And oil is a wasting resource. In 20 years' time, your oil will be toilet paper. Mark my words, because people are tired of this oil business. You understand? So if we can get it out of our minds, that we have a lot more resource that we can all collectively work together towards developing. And let's leave this oil for a minute and find how to track out the oil. We'll be fine. But that's the problem. And that's the simple logic of restructuring. It's not necessarily geographical restructuring. It's restructuring for economic benefit, whereby the federal government stops insisting that without them, you can't develop any natural resource. And they made that law only because of oil. No, we should leave this oil alone. You understand? In Houston and Texas, they live on oil. California lives on agriculture. Delaware lives on commerce. New York lives on real estate and commerce and banking. And they're all doing very well. The economy of California is bigger than the economy of Houston on agriculture and filmmaking. So what is the problem? We're not thinking. We have leaders who are not thinking. Tell them I said so. If they want to be leaders of Nigeria, they should think Nigeria. They should stop thinking themselves. And they should stop thinking their clan or their cult or their cabal. They should think. If they can think, there's more than enough for everybody to build and eventually share. Most of Europe was built on African resource. Most of America and Trinidad, Tobago, West Indies, Brazil, built on African resource. Why can we not build Africa on African resource? And it's just not Nigeria, it's the African. I can't get over their mentality. And even if the colonial masters have put us in this boat, can't we get ourselves out of it? After 60 years, they did, and they're still doing it. Somebody was telling me recently that the state government went to IFC or World Bank, asked them for money. They said they won't lend money for real. Can you imagine? Because they know what real will do. So they still control us. We still go back to them for handout. A man came to your house, listen to me, raped your wife, stole your children, took your goods, took your watch, took your jewelry, and ran away. Then you still go back to him and say, come and solve my problem. What do you think he would do?
Pastor Ito, I know
Fantastic
we can
analogy
go on and on about this, and that's the reason why we've brought you here today. You know, moving away from the natural resources, I know that the state of the religious leaders can't be underestimated in Nigeria today, especially when it comes to the well-being of Nigerians. So you know, how will I put it now? The religious leaders have the highest and the most loyal fans as of today. So are the religious leaders not, you know, fanning the ambience of the destruction or the selfish motive of our politicians today?
To a large extent, the problem with the religious leaders, and I'm one of them, so they can't accuse me of not being one of them, is that we were for a long time a little bit parochial. We were a little bit narrow-minded. We a little bit misinterpreted scripture. We a little bit didn't understand what holiness and righteousness really is. And we a little bit didn't understand the basics of life. You know, without leadership, there's no economy. Without economy, there's no religion. You cannot go to mosque or church when you can't pass on the road. You can Abuja now, after 8 o'clock, I hear a checkpoint all over the place. Kaduna, the same thing. Zamfara, Gombe, everywhere, the same thing. Lagos, we're just managing ourselves. You can't continue life like that. So when a lot of us religious leaders say, oh, separate religion from politics. Politics is dirty. That is the biggest fallacy and biggest mistake that we as religious leaders make. Yes, it's true, we don't want people to disdain us, disrespect us and all that, but there's ways and methods of doing this thing. You as your religious leader, you can do your religion, but you have your followers who you must ensure go into the political space. You must ensure, you know, and some of us are priests and kings, like David was a priest and king, Samuel was a priest and king, Eli was a priest and king, and that is how God organized it. Because you take from God and give to men. So the religious leaders must wake up. Number one, they must unite. They're all disunited. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah, but a lot of people would say that the disunity that happens among the church polity still has this thing that we don't want to mention, that shouldn't be mentioned in the household of faith. And that is corruption and money exchanging hands. Because if monies have exchanged hands in places it should not, it ties you down. It makes you, I will still remember Daniel. They said he did not eat a portion of the king's meal. That was why he was able to stand for what he's standing. But when men of God that we have seen, we had one that some money fell into his account and he's saying he didn't know it was in his account. No, there's some of these things that are very hard for us to articulate in words. What do we do when money and issues of corruption is amongst the clergy?
I think money is about a third of their issues. The first is doctrine. The first is doctrine. Our leaders quarrel over doctrine. Okay, you don't wear shoes, you wear shoes, you don't do this.
Dogma.
Yeah. So they stick tenaciously to doctrine because they have this puritanical attitude that my doctrine, my teaching is the right one. The second is pride and ego. Okay, among our religious leaders, who is the first among equals? Who is the leader? Whose church is bigger? Who should sit right next to Jesus, like Peter and James were quarreling with John? It's happened all the time. I want to sit next to you. So the first is doctrine. The second is ego and pride. Then money. Okay? Because they too want to have a nice lifestyle. Okay? And they are entitled to it. But they should know what their primary assignment is. First of all, follow your assignment. Then lifestyle will come. That's what God says. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Then lifestyle will come. So everybody aspires to a good lifestyle. Why not? You deserve it. You've worked hard. Okay? But seek first the things that are important. So if our religious leaders should first of all calm down on doctrine and know that Jesus Christ is Lord or Allah is supreme, whatever it is, let them just calm down on that one. We can still work as brothers in spite of your doctrinal differences. Secondly, let them also truly be humble, because that's what Jesus says. You must be humble. Okay? Let them be humble. It doesn't matter who is leading. Let's all just agree that Nigeria will be great again. Then thirdly, let us avoid this issue of corruption. Let's even minimize it. You understand? Then we can go forward. What do the so-called religious leaders want for Nigeria? What do they want? What do they want? What do they want for their congregants? What do they want for their church? What do they want for their mosque? What do they want for the collectivity of Nigerians? The problem, my dears, is that nobody is really thinking for the collectivity of Nigerians.
Selfishness there has a role to play there. And I would want to ask you this question, sir. The religiosity or religiousness of Nigerians seems to be something that has recently been on the front burners in comparison with other climes where you have technology advancing, civilization advancing, and with us here it seems to be, if we're not talking about cattle and the herders, we're talking about, you know, how we are corrupt and, you know, looting the treasury. Yet we seem to be at the top echelon of religiosity, you know, praying all night and all of that, and crusades, huge crusades, big churches. I would want to seize this opportunity, sir, with all humility, to ask you, why are we so religious yet so corrupt at a time we were said to be the world capital of corruption and poverty as well?
It's always happened like that. You see, the human being, the human self-interest, the human greed is so strong. You know, Jesus Christ himself was fighting against a corrupt Pharisaic and Sadducee system. He came and preached a new culture, a new way, a new thinking, and they crucified him. That's how corrupt they were. At the time he came, you know, he went to the temple, drove all of them out. The church had become a business center. Okay? The Pharisees and the priests were receiving a lot of bribe, like the sons of Eli. It's not a new thing. You know, corruption is so strong. Greed is so powerful. It keeps fighting back. But everybody runs under the canopy of something. You know, human beings are so gullible. They're always looking for somebody who will show them direction, who will help solve their problems, who will pray, a miracle will happen, who will fast on their behalf, and they'll see a pot of gold at the back of their houses, who will lay hands on them, and their beards will be shaved automatically. Sorry. You know, they're so gullible.
I hope you have nothing against them.
No. I like teasing people. You know, human beings are so gullible. You know, they flock round. A man stands up, can't write zero with his hands. He says he's a prophet. He can see the future. All the people run to him. And he sees some things, guesswork. One or two he gets right, most of it gets wrong. And people, because people are lazy and they're gullible. You see, what a man needs, number one, is to know God for himself and fear God. Know God for yourself and fear him. The skill and gift he gave Kike, he gave you, he gave me, he gave you. God is no respecter of persons. Okay? It is those who loves him that he responds to. So know God for yourself. Number two, know your purpose. Know your purpose in life. Why did God create you? You understand? And find it and run after it. Those things are very, very critical. If you know your purpose, if you know God, you can hear from God. What do you need any prophet for? There's no prophet that knows God more than you. There's no pastor, there's no pope, there's no imam, there's no alpha.
These things you're saying would make you unpopular among some church circles.
It is the truth. And we must tell the people the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth
shall set you free. So, sir,
it is the truth.
Sir, many thanks for that again. You know, in an interview with Femi Gbajabiamila, the Speaker of House of Representatives, he said, we are going to start the process of, you know, collating or looking at the different problems that we are facing and looking for solution, and we'll be bringing the reports to Mr. President. And he's fully aware of the president not, you know, I'm sorry to say this, not being responsive to quite a number of challenges that we are facing today. So this will Do you think this will help us with the resolution of some of the challenges we are facing, especially with the approach that he wants to take it now, knowing that some school of thought are of the opinion that our president is a very slow man in taking decisions? What do you have to say to that, sir?
Femi is a great friend of mine. He's in fact a brother. We've been together for a long time. And I think it's part of the exasperation of trying to find the problems of Nigeria. To be honest, everybody knows Nigeria's problem. Even the little girl in the bush knows Nigeria's problem. At least she knows her own aspect of Nigeria's problem. Yeah. So we're not recreating anything. Since 1950, it's been the same problem. If you read Awolowo's books since 1946, he's been saying the same thing. And those books are still relevant today. You know, so, well, you can do the exercise, collate all the things, you know, but if there's no implementer, it's a waste of time. And that is the problem we have. We have a president who does not implement, who does not really know, and who really does not care. And that is his body language, that is his expression, that is the way he goes around. He's just a very nice, lovely, fatherly figure. And he doesn't care if his children are fighting, doesn't care if the children are eating. He really doesn't show that concern. You understand? And how we got into this was because we had a wrong perception, including myself. In 2015, we thought Buhari was a man of action, a man of diversity, a man of anti-corruption, and blah, blah, blah. No, he's always reading on the back of his assistants. And the good thing about him is that if he has a good assistant, he does a marvelous job, because he generally goes along with what the assistants do. But right now, since we are just in a situation where everybody is going everywhere and doing things, we're being pushed left, right, and center all over the place. And we don't have a decisive president who is saying to us, this is the way he's going. So if we carry all those things and we give it to him, he's just going to look at it and say, well, it's not bad. Okay? Then how do we implement? He will not call Fashola and say, come. He will not call Bajami Ale and come. He will not call Olujo, whatever their names are, Badebayo, my brother. Come, this report, go and do this. Hey, you do this. Hey, you do. That's what a leader does. Not
delegating.
Delegating.
Yeah, he gives instructions.
Wow.
And gives timelines.
The authority.
He's not supposed to do everything, but he must know clearly where he's going. I run a church. I don't do everything. I know what I want. You are the head of finance. This is what I want. You are the prayer person. These are the prayer points. You are the head usher. This is what I want. You, head of protocol. This is how I see it. Then I allow them to give me their own ideas. Okay, pastor, you see it this way, but you know, let's look at it this way. I say, okay, all right, okay, we agree. This is where we're going. Give me the results in 2 weeks' time. May I go home?
And if there's a problem, you know where to go.
Come on, let me resolve the problem. That's what a leader does. First of all, he must know where he's going. The first thing you need from a leader is vision. Anybody who is running for an office today, ask them what their vision is. If they don't have a vision, don't vote for them. And there must be a clear vision of what they want, good or bad. If they want to take us into the ditch, let's know. If they want to take us to the mountains, let's know. So the first thing a leader needs is vision. Clarity of vision of where he's leading his people. If the blind lead the blind, they fall into the ditch. Nigeria is into a crevice. Are you listening to me, Kike? Yes. Or should I keep quiet?
No, sir.
This is where the conversations are real.
The conversations are real.
Vision. Any guy who does not have vision for the position is applying for, don't give it to him. If you want to employ a bank MD, ask him for his vision. A vice chancellor, ask him for his vision. A cook, ask him for his vision. A head of state, ask him for his vision. Once the vision is clear, it looks real, it thinks, then what is his strategy? How are you going to achieve this thing? Okay, then 3, what are the tools that you need to achieve this thing? Then 4, what is the support that you need to achieve this thing? Then 5, what are the timelines within which you are going to achieve this thing? The second thing a leader needs is knowledge. You must be reasonably knowledgeable. You cannot know everything, but at least you must know economics, you must know world economics, you must know international affairs, you must know a bit about security and military, and the things you don't know, go and educate yourself. This someone who went to Harvard many months, and but they did the same. If you go into Fashola Scar, it's full of books, reading, educating himself about how to cope. When I was a pastor, one little boy came to me. He says, I'm teaching additional mathematics. I said, Papa, additional mathematics, I failed. I should teach you. He said, yes, maybe you're a pastor. You know everything. I said, okay, you shouldn't worry. Come back tomorrow. In between today and tomorrow, I did my research, and I found out which one of my ministers knows mathematics. I said, he will teach you. And if he doesn't teach you well, let me know, I'll deal with it. You must have knowledge, information, and then you must have good people. You know, one of the challenges of Nigeria is that we shoot ourselves in the foot by not having good people.
Hey, but sir,
you know, putting the good people.
We don't put the right people.
Before I let you go, Lolo, in case you just joined the show, we have been having quite an enlightening time with our guest, Pastor Utoy Godalo, and we've been talking about the state of the nation with emphasis on the election, banditry, natural resources, and quite a number of things. So don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling the phone lines and the numbers on your screen right now. And of course, remember that we're streaming live on our YouTube page and of course on our Facebook page, so you can be part of this conversation. So Lolo, let me let you go.
You know, when Pastor was talking about good people, sir, the elections are upon us in 2023. We have tried some new things. We've seen some young people come out. We've seen a Fela Drotoye come out. We've seen a Banky W try to push the boundaries. But yet, the two pillars of parties that we have in Nigeria, that anything can really come from, that have the power, the political power, is still APC and PDP. And in these two parties, we have regurgitated politicians. And they keep saying we want to give it to the youth, but yet there is a deficit of youth amongst them. How do we do this new thing that we're proposing if we cannot even find a way into these two major parties to even inject new blood? Because I'm already seeing different people being touted as everybody is still denying. They are playing the denying game. No, I'm not coming out. I've not said anything. But we know where we know where the direction is. How do we inject new life into these places to make the elections really different from what we've had? And you said a lot of things about having good plan. Sir, since I've been born, I'm 44 today, and I've always heard, thank you, sir, and I've always heard the same thing. They'll provide water, light, and the rest of the things they say never changes. So what are we going to be seeing different these elections?
Sir, before I allow you to answer that, let's quickly go on a quick break and get a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
People, they ask me, say, where did they make me smile? I tell them people, say, how I love plenty, just like 1,000 smiles.
Waiting for 7 months was far too long. Echo Hotels and Suites is back with the same passion to take care of me in the same good old way, and even better.
It's been a long time, sir.
Far too long.
To make up for all the time they were truly missed.
The new look Amstel Motor, and introducing new Amstel Motor Ultra, the first ever no added sugar malt. both made from the best quality ingredients, have a world-class name, and are good for you. Amstel Malta and new Amstel Malta Ultra with no added sugar. Be your best.
Many thanks for staying tuned. You know, I know there are loads of questions I would love to ask you right now, but I think it's important for us to just go into the insecurity challenges that we are facing at the moment. The level of insecurity we are facing in Nigeria can be, you know, I'm looking for the right word to use right now because it's frustrating for us, you know. So in times of Obasanjo and in times of many Nigerians who have led us in this country, you've seen that this country where we are, the public holders are not accountable for quite a number of things, and they are actually pointing fingers at one another. So my question now is why do we Africans have the mentality of dying in power? We've seen a lot of international leaders when after 3-4 years they've not met the expectation of the public, they tend to resign. Why do we have that mentality of, you know what, I will die there regardless? Pardon my word.
Well, thank you very much. But let me, before I answer your question, take a throwback to what Lolo asked just before the break.
Yeah.
And there was a very, very germane question as to the process of elections always throws up bad results, which is correct, because we've been hijacked by APC, hijacked is my word, and PDP, who by birth really do not intend well for Nigeria. Most of them are packed full of self-serving people. And that's the truth. Okay? And unless we change the law, the electoral law, that you can have independent candidacy and run your election as you want, we may have a problem.
All right, sir, we have a caller on the line. We have Jack from Port Harcourt. Apologies, I have to interrupt you, sir.
Okay.
All right, Jack. Yeah, please go ahead. Apologies, I think we lost.
It's okay. And it's unlikely these people will change the law. It's like them changing the law of resource control and this. They won't change it because most of them in power, this is what they rode on to get to power, and it benefits them. So we need knowledgeable people. Nigerians are not knowledgeable. Most of us are not knowledgeable. As the area boy doesn't know, as the people in the rural thing, they don't know, they don't understand, they don't know good government from bad government, and so on and so forth. They just wait to collect their 10,000 naira.
Yes.
So we need to really orientate and inform Nigerians. So we either change that electoral law, or the banky W's and the fellas go into PDP and APC, enter there and fight it out there.
I agree.
Because that is where the decisions are being taken. They don't have enough resource to fight this battle. Yes, because you are thinking of 200 million people, you are thinking of 774 local governments. Where is the resource going to come from? Okay, these people,
the oratory prowess and all.
No, it's not. I mean, the woman in the market doesn't know that Banky speaks well or Fela speaks well. She's just looking for
how to make
you
ends meet.
So it's expensive. So they have to be realistic. Either they get into PDP, APC, or they all come together and form a formidable thought force. Very important. If they all came together and they were serious and united, they can form a thought force. But then to go back to Kike's own...
Sorry, Pastor, I advise that you be concise because time is upon us.
Okay, I will try. You did, what was the question again, please?
Insecurity.
Insecurity
and leadership, our die there mentality.
Okay, yes, I mean, you know, power is sweet. You never know a man until he has money.
Oh, yes.
Power is sweet. You come in here, 10 aides, one carrying your phone, one carrying your Bible, one carrying your shoe. Before you take off your jacket, they've grabbed it. You are entering this helicopter here and there, plane here and there, motorcade, 10 cars. I saw the governor's motorcade the other day, one of the governors, 10, 15 cars. of people not being productive, just running around,
I like that.
following a man, very unproductive. You saw me, I came in here today, not even one assistant, because they're busy doing things.
Shocked.
My Olu, who walks around with me to help me, is busy sorting things out for me. He can't be following me up and down. Me, one driver, I'm okay. Okay, let me see the head of state who does that. But the guy in Dubai does it. Very simple motorcade. He moves around by himself. His people love him. That's the problem.
Apologies,
Power
I have to
is
interrupt you again. We have, I think Jack just called us back. Hello, Jack. We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Make your point, Jack.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, the point I'm making is basically when you're looking at the national issues, I am also looking at this part that has to do with when the people come into power and they tell the people that they will give them basic amenities. And what are the basic amenities? The basic amenities they keep telling us about road, health center, shelter and all of that. I think that's not what we need. If a father cannot give birth to a child and telling a child that I will give you food, I will get home for you to stay, you know. So I'm of the opinion that these people should stop telling us this. They should make the people understand that what we need is human capacity development. If you build a very good house and
You know, Jack, the people will not stop telling you what they know. A man cannot say more than he knows. You are the one to tell him that what he's telling you is rubbish.
Exactly.
And that's not what you want. And therefore you're not going to vote for him. He will tell you what he knows. You understand? A man who didn't go to school and you're asking him to talk about human capacity development, he said, what does that mean? You understand? So let's not, you see, people keep flogging themselves saying these people must change. They won't change. It's too late for them to change. We must keep putting them under pressure, you know, if they have enough pressure, yes. But if you don't put them under pressure, no.
All right, sir. I guess we're running out of time right now. And I think that it's just important that I ask this question because I know that independent people of Biafra, you know, their grievances includes the thought of marginalization. And do we think that if they reach the position of presidency, we may at least, you know, have some solution to some of the challenges or problems that we are facing presently, especially when it comes to oneness in Nigeria? What do you think, sir?
We need a Nigerian president.
Okay.
Not because a man comes from Biafra or from Kotangora or from Ewohimi, where I come from. No. Any Nigerian president will fix the Biafran issue. It doesn't have to be a Biafran president to fix the Biafran issue. If he's Biafran as a president, he will solve Biafra's problem to my detriment, to Kotangora's detriment. And that is the problems we keep having in Nigeria. Any Nigerian should aspire to leadership and lead Nigeria for the sake of Nigerians.
All right, sir. I think we might have to wrap up now because we've run out of time. And the technical directors have actually wasted our time today. But sir, before we round up this show, it is important for me to ask you this, because if not, this show have not come to a balance. Is the fact that, you know, yes, we condole with you with the loss of your beautiful wife, Ibidu, and we understand the great loss of your wife because it affects us all. And indeed, a man you showed during the burial ceremony, especially with the true teachings of the Bible that you represent. So my question now is, many Nigerians, I'm speaking for them now, sir, are looking forward to when the Trinity Church senior pastor will be having another woman in his life to support him in the ministry. I can still see that my pastor will laugh deeply. So, sir, answer that question in 1 minute before we go.
It's a difficult. Ibidu and I had a phenomenal relationship, and I gave her everything. I don't have much to give to anybody. I'm sorry.
I know.
I just want to focus on my future, look after my children,
The kids are still young.
and have God minister to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that?
I must say, we had several segments that were, cutting out because we had you on the show, and yes, it was an honor having you on the show today.
So what's the last word, parting words that you have for Nigerians before we go in 30 seconds, sir?
Nigeria will be great again.
Okay.
Let's not lose hope. Let's keep at it, and we will get there.
Amen.
All right. Many thanks again for honoring our invite. And this is where we end another edition of Real Talk with Kike with my exciting co-host and of course Pastor Utwa made today's show one to remember as always. Again, so we'll come your way.